Chronic low-grade inflammation doesn't get the flashy headlines that cancer or heart disease do, yet many chronic diseases and conditions are linked to inflammation. In this video, let's take a look at our immune system, what we know and don't know about inflammation, and the consequences and causes of hidden inflammation. Okay, our immune system is amazing. It helps the body fight against infection and other diseases. It keeps foreign substances like bacteria or viruses out of the body, destroys foreign substances, limits how much those substances can do if they're inside our body, and heals damage to our body. It can even adapt to new challenges and threats. It does this by connecting organs from several organ systems like the lymphatic system into one of the most complicated systems in the body. Here's a great diagram from the Cleveland Clinic that shows all the main organs involved in the immune system. Lymph nodes filter waste products from the fluid in our tissues and cells and create antibodies. The spleen stores white blood cells and filters our blood, recycling old and damaged cells to make new ones. Tonsils and adenoids can trap foreign substances as soon as they enter our body. The thymus helps T cells mature before they travel to other parts of our body. You might remember a lot of discussion about T cells protecting against COVID-19. Bone marrow makes the blood cells that our body needs to survive, including white blood cells. Amazing fact, bone marrow produces 200 billion red blood cells, 10 billion white blood cells, and 400 billion platelets each day. And finally, skin is a protective barrier that helps stop germs from entering our body. It produces oils and releases other protective immune system cells. Our immune system also includes white blood cells, proteins, and chemicals. White blood cells attack and eliminate harmful germs. There are many types of white blood cells. T cells are one type, and each type has a specific job. They all have different ways of identifying a problem, communicating with other cells, and getting their job done. Antibodies are proteins that protect us from foreign substances by binding to them and initiating their destruction. Cytokines are proteins that serve as chemical messengers. They tell our immune cells where to go and what to do. About 200 cytokines have been identified so far. The complement system is a group of proteins that help antibodies and other cells in our body eliminate foreign substances. Mucosa or mucous membrane lines cavities and organs throughout your body. It secretes mucus that captures foreign substances for our body to then clear out. Altogether, an amazing system. How does it all work together? Let's say you get an injury like a cut or a virus causes infection and fever. Your immune system organs, white blood cells, proteins, and chemicals have a rapid response mechanism called acute inflammation to get rid of any foreign substances and return the body to balance. A release of warning chemicals sounds the alarm, which brings white blood cells to the injury site. This is the redness, warmth, swelling, and pain around tissues and joints. Some of these cells neutralize the foreign substances while others clean up the damage. Most acute inflammation resolves quickly, within a period of hours to days, maybe a week or two for the flu or COVID. Chronic inflammation can begin just like acute inflammation, with the body trying to rid itself of what it thinks are foreign substances. If the inflammation lingers for a long time, the immune system continues to pump out white blood cells and chemical messengers that prolong the process. In autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, type 1 diabetes, ulcerative colitis, and multiple sclerosis, the body mistakenly reacts to its own tissue as if they were foreign and takes damaging actions against them. Common symptoms of chronic inflammation include fatigue, body pain, depression or anxiety, gastrointestinal complications, diarrhea or constipation, weight gain or loss, and persistent infections. These symptoms can range from mild to severe and last for several months or years, but there is another form of chronic inflammation that has more subtle symptoms, almost hidden and too easy to overlook. The difficulty in diagnosing low-grade systemic chronic inflammation is that you may attribute these symptoms to work stress, working long hours, long commutes, family stress, caring for others. Really, the list is endless. So this type of inflammation can remain hidden for a very long time until you're diagnosed maybe with cancer, heart disease, obesity, or diabetes. I'll call this low-grade systemic chronic inflammation hidden inflammation from now on. The problem is that a lot is still unknown about hidden inflammation. Hidden inflammation can continue for a long time. It's not easy to know its exact impact, almost like a chicken and egg scenario where it's hard to tell if the inflammation caused the more severe ailment like heart disease or was inflammation the byproduct. On top of that, the causes of hidden inflammation don't cause it in everyone, and some cases of hidden inflammation don't have a clear underlying cause. Dr. Shilpa Ravella writes, in the 21st century, we have reached a tipping point of sorts when for the first time, scientists have been able to staunchly declare that hidden inflammation can be both a consequence and a cause of disease, colluding with our genes and environment to evoke disaster. Let's look at the consequences of hidden inflammation. This diagram is really helpful in understanding the whole landscape of hidden inflammation. It's only been in the past 20 years that the medical community has discovered that the immune system and inflammation are involved in a wide variety of mental and physical health problems that cause people to be unhealthy or die. More than 50% of all deaths are attributed to inflammation-related diseases, including heart disease, stroke, cancer, diabetes, chronic kidney disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and autoimmune and neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's. The researchers write, empirical evidence that inflammation plays a role in disease onset or progression is strongest for metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, and CVD. CVD is cardiovascular or heart disease. Metabolic syndrome is a set of conditions like abdominal obesity, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and high triglycerides that together increase your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and stroke. As you look clockwise around the consequences side of the diagram, you'll also see cancer, depression, autoimmune diseases, neurodegenerative diseases, sarcopenia, that's muscle loss, and osteoporosis, and immunosenescence. Immunosenescence contributes to a decreased capacity of the immune system to respond effectively to infections or vaccines in the elderly. All of these modern diseases link back to hidden inflammation. So what causes hidden inflammation? Take a look at the left side of the diagram, starting with chronic infections. Currently, chronic infections are thought to contribute to inflammation, for example, by interacting with environmental or lifestyle factors, but it's not a primary driver. What's more interesting is lifestyle, social, and physical environment. We can still examine some existing non-industrialized societies, such as the Chimene of Bolivia, the Hadza of Tanzania, and the Kitavans of Papua New Guinea. Their lifestyles are characterized by higher levels of physical activity, diets mostly of fresh or minimally processed food, and less exposure to environmental pollutants. Their circadian rhythms are more closely synchronized with sunlight exposure. They have social stresses, but they're different from ours in industrialized environments. You can check out the upcoming edition of our free weekly email newsletter, 7410 Expanded, for more information about the Chimene and their brain health. Link is in the description. So, industrialization started around the mid-1800s and brought us many benefits like less physical trauma, improved sanitation, quarantine policies, and vaccination. Access to modern medical technology significantly decreased infant mortality rates and increased average life expectancy. If you've been following our channel, you do know that even though life expectancy may have increased, more people spend half of their lives in an unhealthy state. The downside of industrialization is that we have shifted our diet and lifestyle, very different from the ones like the Chimene or Hadza and our own before industrialization. The theory is that this huge shift is a major cause of hidden inflammation. You know that the food we eat is my favorite subject, and sure enough, it causes hidden inflammation. Today's typical diet is low in fruits, vegetables, and other fiber-rich foods, high in refined grains, alcohol, and ultra-processed foods with their collection of chemical additives. This diet alters the balance of bacteria in your gut, causing microbiome dysbiosis and increasing cytokine production, which change the immune system and ultimately cause hidden inflammation. Drinking alcohol, taking new medications, and consuming chemicals like pesticides on unwashed fruit can also cause microbiome dysbiosis. Whatever the cause of this unbalancing of bacteria, it compromises the function and integrity of your GI tract, which then causes hidden inflammation. In addition to physical inactivity and diet, industrialization and current times have enabled changes in social interactions and sleep quality. Yes, even these can promote hidden inflammation and insulin resistance, leading to an increased risk for obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and death. Also, during these modern times, we have been exposed to an unprecedented increase in xenobiotics. That includes air pollutants, tobacco smoke, hazardous waste products, and industrial chemicals. They promote hidden inflammation by altering our molecular signaling. Get this. Each year, an estimated 2,000 new chemicals are introduced into items that individuals use or ingest daily, including foods, personal care products, prescription drugs, household cleaners, and lawn care products. And you thought inflammation was boring. Seriously, we may be exposed to one cause or several interacting causes shown on this diagram, but we know how the story ends. We have the spoiler. So why not use this information to prevent or eliminate any causes of inflammation that are in our power? Let's make this a little more real. In this study, researchers compared what happens when we eat 910-calorie meals. The first, high in fat, is egg muffin and sausage muffin sandwiches, and 2 hash browns. That's 41% carbohydrates, 17% protein, and 42% fat. The second, in line with the American Heart Association's recommendations, is oatmeal, milk, orange juice, raisins, peanut butter, and an English muffin. That's 58% carbohydrates, 15% protein, and 20% fat. Hopefully, you'll recognize that the second meal is not even a whole foods plant-based or healthy vegan meal, so you could eat even healthier. The results show that the first meal, the top line on the graphs, causes an increase in pro-inflammatory activity, SOCS3, TLR4, and TLR2 protein expression, along with an increase in oxidative stress. Suppressor of cytokine signaling, SOCS3 is a major regulator of infection and inflammation. Toll-like receptors, TLR4 and TLR2, are primary sensors for the immune system. They recognize foreign substances and activate the immune response, which happens for the first meal, but not the second. The high-fat meal also increases endotoxins. Once endotoxins pass the intestinal barrier, which is aided by fat, they trigger an inflammatory response, consuming energy and nutrients, which you should also know if you watch our channel. These are nutrients that our brains need. The second meal, rich in fruit and fiber, does not cause any significant increase in pro-inflammatory activity. Pretty amazing. It is possible to reduce the impact of inflammation and its consequences, especially with a whole foods, plant-based, or healthy vegan lifestyle. This benefits your health, the planet's health, and can reduce animal suffering. Hey, we really do appreciate your support. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. Eliminate the causes of inflammation in your life, and remember to take it one day at a time until it's 7 days a week, forever 10.